Hi guys, this is Katya from Katya Homm Properties, and we have in-house a licenciado Omar Sanchez, who is an immigration lawyer. Thank you so much, Omar, for coming in today.
Thank you for the invitation.
We've been planning to have this interview for a while, right?
Yes, for a little while, but finally we're here together.
So let me just say a couple of words about Omar. Omar works for many brokerages here in this bay, and he has an extremely amazing experience on how to help non-nationals get their visa, get their temporary and permanent status here in our Bahia to be able to come and enjoy our beautiful bay more.
Exactly.
Am I right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so please, I would like, in this short interview, I would like to cover the most important points. What are the most frequently asked questions of you for somebody that is willing to consider maybe spending more time here in Puerto Vallarta than the 6 months that it's already given by a tourist visa, right?
Well, I'm going to give you more like a general information about the whole process, how it goes. To start the process, normally 99% of the time you have to start it in your own country, in the closest Mexican consulate. Like if you're coming from the United States, we have several in all the country. If you're from Canada, we have a few of them as well. But what I'm mentioning in United States and Canada, because where more of the tourists come to Puerto Vallarta and they want to stay longer time, or we have all the snowbirds. If you want to start your residency, you start it in your country. There are different ways to start your process. The most common is through economic solvency, or if you're retired, you can apply. There's some other people that come here as well. If they have a job offer, they come through a sponsorship, but well, that's
less common.
Less
no?
common. It's more common the people to come for temporary through economic solvency or for retirement. So what is the process? They go there, they bring all the requirements. Most of the people, they are very confused what is temporary or permanent. Basically, in these two, you have the same requirements in this. The only thing that is going to change is the amount of money that they're going to be asking. Some people, they want to be permanent, but it's not up to the lawyer to tell you that you're going to have permanent or temporary. Everything is going to be based on your interview at the day of your appointment at the consulate, and it's going to be the consul officer, the person that is going to give you the status or temporary or permanent, like I said, based on your interview. There's some consulates that it can be faster to get an appointment. There's some other that it can take longer time. The period of time, and as well, this is a common question, people, how long does it take to complete the process? Depending on the consulate, it can be from 2 to 4 months normally to finish the whole process. You go to the appointment, you're gonna get a visa. When you have your visa, you have 6 months to come back to the country, and then you can continue with the process here to get your actual residency card.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. We all know this process, but just to do step by step.
Okay.
So I decided that I want to move to Puerto Vallarta with my family. I pick up the phone in California and look for the Mexican embassy. Am I right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Do I have to go there and already have an idea of economic solvency, or I'm just gonna go bring my paperwork and they're gonna decide how I'm gonna
all the
start?
requirements are on their website.
Okay.
You can log in, and as well to book an appointment. There is 2 ways. One is through the internet. They have a website that is called Citas SRE, or they have as well, when you log in into the consulate, in the nearest consulate that you have, they're gonna have a WhatsApp number that you can ask for your appointment there. But you don't have to go just like, well, I want my residency. You need to check first of all what are the requirements and see which one is the best option for you.
Okay, and I imagine everybody wants to be permanent, no? Because that's easier. That
Yes.
requires more money, I guess.
It requires more money, and at the end are the same. To have temporary or permanent is basically the same.
It's almost the same.
It's almost the same. The only thing that when you're a permanent, you're gonna be able to get a bank loan, like a mortgage or a loan for a car, and having a credit card. If you have the status or temporary, you're not allowed to have any credits, but you're able to open an account. But people, they just have these, they think having a permanent, they're gonna have more benefits, but at the end, it's basically the same.
Yes, but except when they want to sell their properties, and
Yeah,
there sometimes
correct.
we need some physical activity with,
Exactly.
with the temporary. But okay, so they have all the requirements. They walk in, they get the appointment, they happy. They decide. The officer decides.
Correct.
So make sure you smile really nicely to the officer, right?
Yes, through and a smile always help.
So. Is this the amount of money that they have to have like an economic solvency? I imagine they checking the bank accounts back for
Correct.
For how many? What's the time period?
It's the past 12 months. Like if, for example, if you're applying now in July, you need to you need to show your bank statement from July 2023 until this date. And as well, it can be regular balance in your account, but most of the people, they don't have that high amount of money in their regular balance. Investments are you can present investments.
Oh, they count.
Yes.
Okay, so you saying high amount. I think you told me this before that they vary depending on the state of the different state, the amount that of the requirement. Is this right?
What
are we talking about?
Well, it changed, but just for a few dollars. It's no.
Okay, so it's not a major.
It's not a major. And but normally it just a rounded amount. For temporary, normally they ask around $76,000 US, and for permanent, we're talking about $250,000.
76,000 US per what?
1 year.
Okay.
If you have it in investment, it counts.
Okay. Already. Okay, that's a good info. So they don't really change. I had the feeling that they vary.
No, it's just a few dollars. Like there's some other consulate that they're gonna ask you. Let's say it's an example. This is not the exactly amount, but there is some consulate that it will say $76,000 US a year. But if you go to a different consulate and they say, oh, you need to have $76,002, even if you're short for the $2, you cannot apply there.
Really?
Yes, I mean, if depending on the consulate, but it just changed a little bit. We're not talking about major amounts.
Okay. What about Canada?
Canada, it's exactly the same amount, but in Canadian dollars.
Okay.
So
whatever it is.
Okay. It's like 180,000 Canadian dollars, and for permanent, we are talking about 400,000 roughly Canadian dollars, depending on the change rate. No, even in the States, it goes depending on the change rate at the day here in Mexico. No.
Other than not having enough money, can they reject it?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Like the officer doesn't like my face?
No. If you don't have the money, you don't have the requirements to apply.
Okay.
But you can be rejected, well, depending on what you declare, because if you mention that you're gonna be less than 6 months in Mexico, it's not necessary to get a residency. They're gonna tell you right away you have 180 days. But if you're planning to stay longer time in Mexico, yes, it's better that you have your residency. It's gonna back you up a lot, because you can go in and out, and eventually if you're temporary, then you're gonna be permanent, and then eventually if you want to become a citizen. So it's important, if you're planning to spend more than 6 months in Mexico, I suggest to start your process of immigration residency.
Okay, and be sure that you're not saying that you want to spend less than 6 months.
Correct.
Okay, so as soon as they have the stamp, what's next?
Okay, when they have the visa, they have 6 months to come to Mexico, and we call it here canje, what is when you're gonna change that visa for your actual residency card here at immigration. That is when you're gonna finish the process. Then if you get temporary, it's the first time it's gonna be only for 1 year. The second renewal, you can renew for 1, 2, or 3 years. But well, that is up to the person what they want to do. And after you finish your 4 years, you can become permanent resident. but it's not necessary to go back for the renewal to the consulate. The consulate is only one-time deal, and the rest you have to do it here in Puerto Vallarta.
Okay, a question that I get very often. They come down. How long do they have to be here? How long does it take down here at the immigration office to get everything done?
Okay, well, in theory, it has to be 1 week, but in reality, it can take a little bit longer. Plan to come in between 2 or 3 weeks because it's just depending of the number of applicants they have, and it can take longer. They will tell you normally they tell you at the consulate that you will do it in 1 week, but no, just plan to be here for 3 weeks at least.
Okay, that's important.
That's important.
This was something that changed recently as well. Like before, you had to be here for a longer period of time. There was some rule that this helps you guys. So now, let's say in about 3 or 4 months, can I say that?
Yes.
You can get your visa.
Yes, correct. And like I said, the most important just to start, it's just depending of the consulate that you're choosing, it's to book the appointment, it can take between 1 or 2 months.
Okay, let me ask you this. If I live in California, can I go to the consulate in New York?
No, especially in New York, no. There's some other consulates that can, no. There's some other, like, if you're from California, you need to have an address, a utility bill, or a driver's license from your area. LA, San Francisco is gonna require that as well. Seattle, Portland, New York is gonna ask you to have an address in New York. Or if you're gonna apply in Massachusetts, you have to be from New England. Well, if you're gonna apply in Boston, you have to be from Massachusetts, New England, Rhode Island, these areas. There's some other consulates that they take people from everywhere. Vegas, Phoenix, in California, and Calexico, you can apply if you don't have an address there.
Omar, how long have you been doing this? You have the whole map in your mind.
No, it's
All
been
the
a few
regulations.
years. Yeah, it's been 13 years already.
Oh my God, already.
So, and,
yeah, I mean, I can tell. Okay, so you answered permanent or temporary. What else? What other questions shall I think of that are important and you frequently getting asked?
Okay, can I work? That's another question because right now we have a lot of digital nomads coming into the country. They can work, but they can work. They can continue working from their countries. Like if you're from France and you're deciding to come here and continue having your job in France, well, you can do it because you wanna have a temporary residency, and we call it as a retirement because you won't be making any profits in the country.
Okay.
So, but if you want to make profits in the country, you have to change your visa, your residency for a working permit. Other than that, you're gonna have a lot of penalties, we're talking about monetary.
What about if somebody wants to put his property on Airbnb? What type of, they need to have some kind of fiscal activity on their
The first thing is that we're not going into the fiscal, but the first thing to put your property into Airbnb, you need to be able to have an RFC number, which is the IRS, is the Mexican IRS. And it has to be with activities, like you're gonna be making profits into the country. After you have that document, your residency has to change for, you need to have permission to work because you're gonna be making profits in Mexico. Even that you're not physically working, that's considering work because you make profits in the country.
Okay, I got it. And I believe we need to make a correction here because you can put your property on Airbnb as a tourist without a tax number, but it has much more serious tax implication, which we're not going to touch now. But
that's correct.
If you want to have the benefits, yes, you're going to have this extra.
A residency. Right? And what you have mentioned about this, you can rent your apartment, but it's gonna be directly the platform, the internet platform, the one is gonna be taking your taxes right away and paying to the government, but you don't even see that, it goes directly. But yes, if you want to have the benefit, you need to have residency here.
Okay, okay, that's great. Let me ask you something.
Okay.
And this question has been always in my mind and I keep asking it. You who you've been doing this for a long time, what have you seen since the pandemic of a change of people willing to move down to Puerto Vallarta? Because I see it from a real estate perspective. We've seen a huge change, obviously, after the pandemic, and the amount of people that were coming down with the purpose of living here full time. But from a perspective of a professional immigration person, how was your experience?
Okay, well, everyone wants to live in Puerto Vallarta. This is a paradise. But after COVID time, something changed around the world and people are able to work at home. So many people are coming and they are living here and continue having their jobs in their countries, but working here, living in Mexico. And if you're coming from another country, which is cold 6-7 months out of the year, we have a perfect weather all year round.
Yeah. So you saw a huge change of people
yes, it's
coming
a lot
down.
of people coming here and immigrating and actually asking for their residency. And some other people, they come as a tourist, they spend the 6 months, and
they don't want to go back home.
They don't want to go back. That's exactly. They just go finish their stuff in their countries just to move into Mexico.
Okay, and I think, I don't know what are your feelings, but now with the upcoming elections, I hope you put yourself ready, because we're going to have a lot of people. We're expecting a lot of people, unhappy people, no matter what happens here.
Well, it's something that is going around the town, but I think it's going to be huge, yes.
Yeah, so the city, guys, is growing like crazy. Like if you've been to Puerto Vallarta, let's say 8, 10, 7 years ago, you should come back and see the change.
It's a completely different world.
It is a completely different world. So I think we covered the main things. Omar, thank you so much,
Thank you very much
for being here today. Guys, please feel free to reach out to the licenciado on these emails and contact numbers below. And to me, if you have any questions, thank you again for watching us.
Okay.
Thank you again
Thank you
for
very
being
much for
here.
the invitation.
And have a beautiful day. See you soon. Ciao.